Paul, Outsider Tackle Box radio show and podcast. I got my good buddy Tommy in the studio. Say hi, Tommy.
Hey, what's going on, Zach? How you doing?
Good, Tommy. How are you?
I'm good. I'm awake. I'm moving. I got some coffee, so that's about the best I can ask for right at this moment.
And he's sitting next to the coolest guy in the studio, by the way.
That is an absolute false statement.
Welcome to the show. Thanks for sending in the photo. The idea behind the internet radio and podcast is to spread happiness to the world through the joys of fishing, and fish stories do just that along with the photo. And we want to hear where you caught that fish, the bait that you were using.
Or fish, plural, because he's got a full handful.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he's got a ton.
And thank you, by the way, for submitting your fish story via our Messenger app.
Absolutely.
And so that's how we found him.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people, believe it or not, a lot of people want to hear, hey, where'd that guy catch those fish? How big were they? What was going on that day? A lot of people, it's like sitting in front of Grandpa who's telling you a story. It can be true. It can be false. We're all fishermen. We know how that goes. But people enjoy it. And that's what this is about.
Yes. So let's hear that fish story, Zach. This is your show. Go for it.
Yeah, man. So the cooler of fish that we had, those were speckled trout. Caught those off a little island on the outskirts of Mississippi called Horn Island. It was just this past weekend we were down there, and conditions were pretty decent. Little bit of choppy water that morning getting out to the island. But we got up at about 4 o'clock, got out, caught some bait, which we caught live croaker, about 6-7 inches. Yeah. And took those out to the island. So we had a live well full of live croaker, made it out to the islands that morning by about 9 o'clock. Took us a little while to catch bait, a little longer than normal. Got out to the islands, and most of the spots were taken up. Everybody had pulled in already and had them locked down. So we said, well, let's slide down here and try this area. We tried a new little area, got thrown out there, and man, in no time, boom, the cork disappears. And when you're fishing with live croaker like that, you got to let it sit for a minute. They got to actually eat it.
Yeah.
And so you wait a few seconds, snatch it, and man, you talk about pulling up trout. 27, 28 inches, big monster trout.
That's awesome.
So we did that for the first few, little while, maybe 30 minutes, and then it just goes dead. Don't have anything left.
Bummer.
Yeah, it just goes dead, and then we're like, well, what's going on? What changed this? Why are they all of a sudden not biting? Just little areas up and down the beach. Different pockets held different fish. And I feel like so many times people think, hey, the fish are just stopped biting. And they say, okay, let's go home. They don't try something else. Yeah. So we went down the beach a little further and found another hot area. Most of the time, speckled trout, they only hit live bait. They don't really want to hit dead bait that much. Mm-hmm. They were so active and so aggressively feeding that we were having dead croakers on our line, and they were hitting them like it was crack. They loved it.
Yeah, they were just on it.
Yeah, it was one of those days that you dream about. The fish are just hammering down. Ran out of bait. We checked our fish, how many we had, and we were at like 26.
Wow, that's
a limit is 45 for 3 people.
Wow.
So we said, well, let's throw some lures on. It's probably 10 o'clock in the morning. So it's a little late to try top water, but we're fishing with Zara Spooks, sitting out there walking them on top of the water, and they're just hammering them. Wow. It was an all-around heck of a day. What you would ask for when you wanted to go fishing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you got there to the spot roughly around 9 o'clock or so, you were saying, and by 10 o'clock you already had about 26 fish?
Yep.
Wow.
By 10:30 awesome. We had already turned the boat around, got in the cooler, drinking beer, riding on to the house with a full limit of fish, 45 fish.
There you go.
That's a great day.
Paul, you can't even
I
catch
love it.
one fish in
No,
3 hours.
There's been times
I
where
know.
fish are just jumping in the boat, and you love it, and that doesn't happen often. So when you
Not
hear
like
somebody else having a day like that, you want to know what they're doing, and it looks like live bait. We're killing it that
for
day
them,
for
yeah.
where he's fishing. So
Which is a little island off of Mississippi area, so that's kind of cool. What was the name of the island
Yeah.
again?
That island is Horn Island. Horn, like
Horn.
Horn Island.
Gotcha.
But essentially, all those islands, you got Horn, you have Ship, you have Cat. All those islands hold speckled trout.
Nice. That's pretty awesome. I'm actually, I would love to go out and fish like the Mississippi area. Personally, that would be fun for me. I've never been out that way.
you just want to go eat the food,
You're absolutely right.
fish, and experience the food in that area.
Yeah. I'm a
There
fat
you go.
guy.
Hey, that's not a bad thing to do.
Dude,
Right now, there's actually a I don't know what you would say. The Bonnet Car Spillway,
okay.
they've opened that, and that's in Louisiana.
See?
I don't know if
Perfect.
y'all have heard anything about this, but it's in Louisiana, so it's causing an influx of a lot of fresh water into the Mississippi Sound and then throughout Louisiana as well.
Oh,
And what that's doing is all these saltwater fish can't live. It essentially strangles them.
uh-huh.
And the algae grows, and it's basically a red tide for the fish.
Gotcha.
They found over 200 dolphins and sea turtles that have been washed up on the beach dead because of this.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
And it's all the flooding from the Midwest is causing them to have to open the spillway. It's
Yeah.
causing a big, issue. So
Oh man. Yeah, I did not know or hear anything about that, but that's no good.
Well, thanks for coming on the show, Zach. We appreciate all the photos that you send in. You're welcome to come back anytime.
Absolutely.
I enjoyed the fish story. A kind of day like that that you were having is makes me happy. It felt like I was there, and
The kind of day Paul only dreams of.
it's the kind of day everybody dreams of when they're fishing. And so,
Well, yeah, but-
and you know what? We're not even counting catching his own bait because he had to catch live bait. Those are catches too.
Yeah,
I always count those.
That's already like 70 fish.
oh yeah,
on
you
there.
have to.
Yeah, I caught fish already. I had to catch the bait.
Yeah, I know. I know. When we went up to the Columbia, you were like, "Look, I caught a shad."
Yeah, we caught we were using shad to try to
sturgeon.
pull in a sturgeon, and so, but I did catch the shad, and I was like, I knew I was fishing for bait, but like that's a catch.
In your defense, that was a huge shad.
It was a big
That
shad.
was a huge shad.
Hey, as long as you catch a fish,
It's
you're
fishing.
catching. You're
Exactly.
no longer fishing.
It's fishing. Exactly. You're having a great time. You're catching them. You're ringing them. You're reeling them in. It all counts.
Yeah, stay
You
tuned.
can't go home thinking I didn't catch anything.
Exactly.
That's right,
Exactly. All right. Well, Zach, you have a good one, man.
From all of us here at Outsider Tackle Box, Tight Lines.
Tight Lines, fish more, man. Stay tuned, and we will.
We're gonna send you some free stuff, so
yeah.
just send us where to send that. Message us, and for coming on the show, that's our gift to you. So we appreciate it. We're gonna send you some gear.
And you're going to be able to share this. We're going to share it on all of our social media and radio outlets. But you'll be able to tell your buddies and whatnot. Hey, I was on the radio,
And you
can
weren't.
listen to me. Yeah, I was on the radio. You weren't. Blah, blah. But you can do all that. You can actually check us out on OutsiderTackleBox.com. And
We have a radio show tab. It'll be on there,
Yeah.
and everything that we do is there too. And,
Yeah.
and what's going on with Outsider? We got the weekly bids.
Yep.
We're putting reels and rods up, and so we're always
Everything.
adding
We're
stuff
just having
to it.
fun with
But you're here for the fish story, and that's what we're about. We love sharing it with others, and we appreciate you coming on the show. So
Absolutely.
have a good one. Tight Lines, fish
Oh,
more,
yeah.
and take care, Zach.
Take care, Zach. Have a great one, bud.
Tight lines, brother.
All right. Bye.